Shalom, this is Gamali Allah out of Great Millstone, Atlanta. I want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim that are pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right, it's a quick lesson. It's going to be called The Digitazation of Humanity. All right, and as you see on the screen here is an article, blacklistednews.com. On January 10th, the digitization of humanity shows why the globalist agenda is evil. All right. And what you see on the screen here is a robot. All right. An AI robot. Which is that's basically their goal is to bridge the gap between humanity and robots. They want humans to be fused with robots, and they want robots to be more human. All right. So I'll go ahead and get into it and bring out some precepts, Lord willing, you're edified. It says, in recent weeks, I've been seeing an interesting narrative fallacy being sold to the general public when it comes to the designs of globalists. All right. It says the mainstream media and others are now openly suggesting that it's actually okay to be opposed to certain aspects of groups like the WEF. They give you permission to be concerned, just don't dare call it a conspiracy. All right, it says this propaganda is a deviation from the abject denials we're accustomed to hearing in the liberty movement for the past decade or more. We have all been confronted with the usual cognitive dissonance, the claims that globalist groups just sit around and talk about boring economic issues and nothing they do has any bearing on global politics or your everyday life. In some cases, we're even told that these groups of elites don't exist. All right, it says now the media is admitting that yes, perhaps the globalists have more than just a little influence over governments, social policies, and economic outcomes. But what the mainstream doesn't like, and yeah, that's true because global politics does have a big effect on your everyday life. All right, it just takes a long time to take effect. When they have these meetings and they push these different when they push these different, how do I say, when they're making these different moves, right? Basically that's I'm sorry, I blanked out. But when they make these different moves, it takes a very long time for these things to affect your local governments. All right, but it's a process. All right, that's the direction that they're moving in. All right, and also on top of that, the Lord, is basically taking, He's letting the prophecies unfold. Okay, prophecies is it's a building thing. It's not an overnight thing. You know, but we're seeing more and more steps towards this beast system attempting to accomplish their goal of ultimate domination, which includes tracking you and inserting via a device, basically tracking you and controlling you via an implanted device, all right, which is the MOTB. All right, but it says I'll keep going. It says, but what the mainstream media doesn't like is the assertion that globalists have nefarious or authoritarian intentions. That's just crazy tinfolk hat talk, right? The reason for the narrative shift is obvious. Far too many people witnessed the true globalist agenda in action during the pandemic lockdowns, and now they see the conspiracy for what it is. The globalists, in turn, have seemed to have been shocked to discover many millions of people in opposition to the mandates, and the refusals to comply were clearly far greater than they expected. They are still trying to push their brand of COVID fear, but the cat is out of the bag now, you know. And yeah, Esau is losing his grip over the masses, all right? Esau really doesn't have the manpower to be able to enforce these different mandates, all right? He doesn't have, you know, that oomph anymore, okay, to control the people, all right? He's losing that grip, all right? Let's get, well, yeah, that's a spirit. Shit, I'll start with this. This is Isaiah 14 and 14, 14 and 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. All right. So yeah, that's basically his goal, is to be like the Most High. All right. He wants to establish, his kingdom. All right. He wants to establish his ideal kingdom, which is to keep you at the very low, to keep you at the very lowest level and control you without any possible way of climbing out of slavery. All right. And that system, through this system, he's able to accomplish that. But ultimately, the system is going to fail. Reading on in 15, it says, Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So that's judgment. Judgment is going to come upon Esau. Verse 16, They that see thee shall look narrowly upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made it the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of prisoners? Yeah, so, hey, he opened not the house of prisoners, of his prisoners. All right. He wants to enslave humankind. He wants to enslave the masses. All right, to where 5% of the population, the wealthy 5% of the population control everything, and you, as a 95 percenter, you have nothing. All right. But it says he made the world as a wilderness. Yeah, he destroyed the earth. All right. Let me see. Is that it? That was the point on that. So let's go back to the article. All right. It says, matter of fact, I want to get something else real quick. Yeah, because this is going into Esau's fall. Yeah, Job 20 and 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Because he's trying to, and it says the fullness of his sufficiency. So basically, he's trying to make his belly full, but the Lord is going to take him out. So ultimately, this plan is not going to work, and people are waking up. That's why when we read the last one, it says, This him that caused the earth to tremble. So people are waking up, man, to this BS. Let's get this. Jeremiah 49 and 10. It says, But I have made Esau bare. have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And one way that he hides himself is he doesn't want the truth to get out that he is Esau in the Bible. That's why he constantly hides it. He takes down our pages. When you look up Esau, when you look up Esau and you try to connect it to the so-called white man, there's not a lot of hits on search engines, unless you go to the Israelites that break it down. But coming from any experts or historians or people that he deems to be, validated, you won't find anything. All right. It says they failed to get what they wanted in the West, which is a perpetual Chinese-style medical tyranny with vaccine passports as the norm. So the globalist strategy has changed, and they're seeking to adapt. They admit to a certain level of influence, but they pretend as if they are benevolent or indifferent. Yeah, so it's basically so obvious to the point where they have to admit it, but they can't really go all the way into saying, well, this is our intentions. They can't really say what their intentions are, but they will control the mainstream media into no longer denying that there is an influence. It says the response to this lie is relatively straightforward. I could point out how Klaus Schwab of the WEF savored the thrill of the initial pandemic outbreak and declared that COVID was the perfect opportunity to initiate what the WEF calls the Great Reset. Yeah, and that's basically what they want is the Great Reset. All right. And they wanted to use COVID as a catalyst to do that. All right, but basically they're saying that it did. I mean, it didn't go as planned. That's why we read in Job 20. It says when he is about to fill his belly. So the Lord is really working to foil this devil's plan as well. You might think, oh, everything is going according to plan, but really, so-called white man is really playing himself. Okay, the Lord is really like, he has him in a trick bag. So he is letting them accomplish certain things. He's letting this devil do certain things, and create certain, have certain feats, and he's puffing them up, he's hardening Esau's heart, just like he did with Pharaoh, but ultimately it's not going to work. It's going to be to Esau's demise. It says, I could also point out that Klaus Schwab's vision of the reset, what he calls the fourth industrial revolution, is a veritable nightmare world in which artificial intelligence runs everything. Society is condensed into digital enclaves called smart cities, and people are oppressed by carbon taxation. I could point out that the WEF actively supports the concept of the shared economy, in which you will own nothing, you have no privacy, and you will supposedly be happy about it, but only because you won't have any other choice. Yeah, and I brought this up in videos before, where they basically want to do the shared economy, where people share everything, and they want to limit your access to everything, smart cities, and they basically want everything to be so-called economical, to save the planet, as they say, but really it's just to control you. It's just for further control. It says What I really want to talk about, however, is the process by which the elites hope to achieve their dystopian epoch, as well as the globalist mindset which attends to the horrors of technocracy. The common naive assumption among skeptics of conspiracy is that the globalists are regular human beings with the same drives and limited desires as the rest of us. They might have some power, but the world events are still random and certainly not controlled. And, we know that's far from the truth because, as a matter of fact, I'll keep going. It says this is a fallacy. The globalists are not like us. They are not human. Or should I say, they despise humanity and seek to do away with it. Let's see. Because let's see. I think this is it. It's actually not what I'm looking for, but this may be a good preset. No, it's not what I want. For the sake of, here it is. If I can find it, Lord willing. Lord willing, I can find it. If not, I'll just, in fact, I'll keep reading. Just bear with me one moment. Baba Kushai. I can't find it. So, Lord willing, it'll come to me. But it says, yeah. So yeah, this man is not a hit. But this individual is correct. Correct. Esau is not a normal person. He's not a human. He's the devil. All right. Let's get this. Ecclesiastes 1 and 15. It says, "That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered." Here's another one. No. Yeah. So hey, nothing this devil ever does can be made straight. Right? He's not a human, man. He's evil. Everything that he's done, everything that he does is. Oh, the scriptures also say he cannot sleep lest he has, least he has done evil, done wickedness. All right. Let's see. It says futurism is an ideological movement which believes that all new innovations, social or technological, should supplant the previous existing systems for the sake of progress. They believe that old ways of thinking, including notions of principles, heritage, religious belief systems, codes of conduct, are crutches holding humanity back from greatness. But what is the greatness futurists seek? They want, as I mentioned above, they want godhood. It says their entire ideology can be summed up in a couple words: futurism and godhood. And we read that. He wants to be like the Most High. All right, he wants godhood. So this is totally in line with the scriptures. It says Harari's conclusions are rooted in elitist base biases and ignore numerous psychological and social realities, but we can set those aside for a moment and examine his premise that humanity as we know it will no longer exist in the next century because of digital evolution and human hacking. I'll read this last, because there's a lot more, but I'll read this last little paragraph, or one more paragraph. It says globalists also believe that data is most valuable because it can be exploited to control people's behaviors, to hack the body and mind in order to create human puppets or create super beings. They dream of becoming little gods with omnipotent knowledge. Yuval even proudly claims with that digital design will no longer be the realm of God in heaven, but the new digitized man. See that? So yeah, they're basically trying to replace the Most High. They're basically trying to be like the Most High. They want to be as God and be, this beacon of creation. And we did this, we did that, and control the people with godhood and futurism. All right, but as we read, ultimately it's not going to work. This devil has to be taken out by YAHAWASHI. That's why you read Obadiah says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock." So he's being deceived. The pride of his own, he's doing nothing but deceiving himself. He's thinking that he's going to accomplish this system, all right, the beast system, all right, which is not going to work. That image, this is all a part of his image, which is the whole total vibration of the ancient Rome, all right, you know. So that was pretty much the point. Lord, when you were edified, I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom.